Have you ever helped someone and felt instantly lighter inside? Or done something wrong and immediately tripped? Lost something? Or felt anxious? That's not coincidence. That's karma. Moving fast. Many people think karma is slow, that it only shows up in the next life. But the Buddha taught that karma can ripen right now, in this very moment. If you've ever wondered why things go wrong so quickly after a selfish choice, or how peace flows in when you choose kindness, this talk is for you. Today, we'll explore how karma works fast, how good actions bring better living almost immediately, and what the Buddha said about creating a life of peace, starting now. A lot of people think karma takes years, even lifetimes, to come back around, but if you really pay attention, you'll notice that karma often works right away. It's not just something reserved for a future you. It's something shaping your life moment to moment. That argument you had earlier? The way your energy shifted right after? That's karma. That sense of lightness you felt after helping someone without expecting anything back? That's also karma. The Buddha taught that karma isn't only about some distant future outcome. Some actions bear fruit immediately, because the mind is already affected the moment the action is born. Think about it. When you do something selfish or hurtful, doesn't your heart feel tighter? Your thoughts heavier? And when you do something generous or honest, don't you feel more open, more grounded, more at peace? That's not just coincidence. It's the fast-acting nature of karma. And in today's world, we need to understand that immediacy. Because when people assume karma is delayed, they feel like they can get away with things. They lie, cheat, manipulate, thinking the consequences will come much later, if at all. But the Buddha saw clearly that the first effect of any action is in your own consciousness. You can't escape the imprint it leaves. It follows you like a shadow. So when we say, karma works fast, we mean that your inner world responds instantly. Your peace or restlessness, your clarity or confusion, is shaped by what you just thought, just said, just did. The cause and effect are tightly linked. Sometimes, if you really tune in, you can feel it in the very next breath. That's both the warning and the gift. Because if karma responds that quickly, then the moment you start planting good, you start feeling better. Right action isn't just about being virtuous, it's the most effective path to freedom. Here and now. And it's not complicated, just a small act of kindness. A shift in intention, a choice to speak with love instead of ego. That's enough to change the trajectory of your day. Karma is not waiting for you. It's already moving, already shaping your reality. The question is, which direction are? If karma moves that fast, if we feel the effects almost instantly, then it's worth asking, what exactly are we creating with each moment? Every thought you think, every word you speak, every action you take, it all leaves a trace. Not just in the world, but deep within your own consciousness. The Buddha often described karma as seeds. And like any garden, what you plant is what you'll grow. A single moment of anger doesn't just come and go. It lingers in the mind, affects how you see people, and makes it easier for anger to arise again. One act of compassion, on the other hand, opens a space in your heart. It makes you more likely to feel kindness, to speak gently, to act with care. These traces accumulate. They build habits. They shape your personality, your relationships, and even your sense of purpose. This is where the idea of personal responsibility becomes so powerful. No one else is planting your garden for you. No one else is creating your future. You do that, one choice at a time. And the beauty is, every moment gives you a fresh chance to shift direction. Even if you've made mistakes, even if you've planted some painful seeds, you're not stuck. You can begin again right now, by becoming more mindful of what you're doing with this moment. The Buddha didn't teach karma to make people afraid. He taught it to help us wake up, to realize that we are never powerless, that even in the smallest action, We have the ability to create something meaningful. A smile offered when someone feels unseen. A moment of patience instead of blame. A choice to listen instead of react. These seem small, but they ripple outward, and they ripple inward too. Changing who you become. Karma isn't only about future rewards or punishments. It's about the quality of your life right now. It's about how light or heavy your heart feels. How much peace or conflict lives in your mind. And that's why every trace matters. Every action is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. So the real question is, what kind of picture are you painting? What kind of person are you becoming with each step, each breath, each moment of awareness? So if every thought and action leaves a trace, and karma responds so quickly, then that raises an inspiring truth. Doing good changes your life almost immediately. You don't have to wait for some far-off reward, or hope that maybe in your next life things will be better. The shift begins right here. The moment you choose kindness over cruelty, honesty over deception, or patience over anger, that inner shift is your first reward. The Buddha emphasized this in countless ways. He taught that when you act with wisdom and compassion, you experience something called non-regret. It may sound simple, but it's one of the most powerful forms of freedom. Non-regret means you go to sleep with a light heart. You wake up without shame or self-judgment. You walk through life without having to cover up lies or fix the messes left behind by ego-driven choices. That peace is immediate, and it's deeply nourishing. Think about the feeling you get after helping someone. It could be as small as holding the door open, or offering a kind word to a stranger who looks down. That moment lifts you. It changes your posture, your breath, even your sense of self. Why? Because in that moment, you are in alignment with something deeper than your own preferences. You're in alignment with goodness. And that alignment becomes strength. This is why doing good isn't just about being moral or following rules. It's about building a life that actually feels good to live. It's about clearing away the mental fog and emotional weight that come from acting out of fear or self-interest. Every time you choose integrity, you lighten your load. Every time you act with care, you plant peace in your body and mind. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You might still lose your temper, make mistakes, or fall into old habits. But if you keep turning back toward what's wholesome, if you keep choosing to respond with mindfulness instead of reactivity, the effects begin to stack up. You begin to change, not just how you behave, but how you experience your own life. That's the beauty of karma that works fast. You don't have to wait to feel the difference. The reward for good isn't only in the future, it's right here. In the peace you feel when your actions come from a place of wisdom and love. When we really begin to see how doing good transforms us from the inside out, it becomes easier to believe in karma, not just as an idea, but as a living truth. And some of the most powerful reminders of this truth come from the stories passed down through generations of Buddhist teachings. These stories aren't just old legends. They're mirrors, showing us how quickly the energy of our actions can come back to us. There's a well-known story in the Buddhist texts about a merchant who was greedy and harsh. One day, after refusing to help a poor monk in need, he slipped and broke his leg just moments later. To many, it might seem like a coincidence. But the monks who witnessed it understood it differently. The man's unkind action planted an immediate seed that ripened right away. His disregard for compassion created suffering, not just for the monk, but ultimately for himself. That was karma in motion. Then there's another story, much gentler, about a woman who had nothing but a small piece of bread. Even though she was hungry, she offered it to a wandering monk. That very day, she was invited to a nearby village festival, where she was treated with honor and given more food and support than she had seen in weeks. The shift in her circumstances came fast, but more importantly, the shift in her heart came even faster. She had opened herself to generosity. And life opened back. These stories aren't meant to scare or to promise miracles. They're meant to wake us up, to help us see that the world is not indifferent to our actions. Life reflects who we are being in each moment. And sometimes, when the conditions are right, that reflection comes almost immediately. If you've ever noticed that after lying, your day seems to go wrong, or that after helping someone, you suddenly feel more grounded and joyful, then you've seen this principle in action. You don't need ancient texts to tell you that energy is real and responsive. You live it every day. The Buddha told these stories not to entertain, but to remind us, the law of cause and effect is always at work. Whether we see the results clearly or not, something is always shifting. And when our intentions are pure and our actions sincere, the good we create has a way of finding its way back to us, often when we need it most. That's the quiet, steady magic of karma. These stories, whether dramatic or subtle, all point to one essential truth. The state of your heart is shaped by the actions you choose. And when those actions are rooted in kindness, honesty, and awareness, they don't just bring good karma, they bring peace. Real, steady peace. Not the kind that comes from circumstances, but the kind that lives deep inside, untouched by what's happening outside you. The Buddha called this inner state non-regret. It's more than just feeling okay with your choices. It's the quiet knowing that you lived your day in alignment with truth. That you didn't betray your own values. That you didn't harm others for the sake of comfort or gain. This inner alignment is powerful. It gives you the kind of calm that can't be bought, faked, or forced. It's the calm that comes from having nothing to hide. You can feel it in small, ordinary moments, after apologizing sincerely, and knowing you made things right, after speaking up for someone who couldn't defend themselves, after choosing silence instead of criticism. These actions might not earn applause, but they create a quiet strength inside you. That strength becomes the foundation of real happiness. And the opposite is just as true. When we act out of anger, greed, or pride, even if no one sees, it weighs on us. It clouds our mind, disrupts our sleep, and weakens our relationships. We carry that energy whether we acknowledge it or not. That's why so many people feel restless without knowing why. Their actions are out of sync with their conscience, and their heart can't rest. This is where the real value of right action shows up. Not as something to please others, not to meet a rulebook of perfection, but as a path to inner clarity. Every time you act with integrity, you build trust within yourself. Every time you choose compassion, you water the seeds of joy. And over time, this becomes a way of life, not just a philosophy or belief, but a daily experience of peace that arises naturally from the way you move through the world. You don't need to wait for a perfect moment to start. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. Just begin with what's in front of you. One honest word, one thoughtful choice, one kind gesture. These are not small things. They are the building blocks of a peaceful life, grounded in good karma, and rooted in the deep stability of a clear and loving heart. When you begin living from that place of inner peace, something remarkable starts to happen. Your relationships shift, your health improves, and the world responds differently to you. That's not some vague promise, it's a reflection of how karma operates in the deeply interconnected systems of your life. Every thought and action doesn't just impact your inner world, it radiates outward, shaping how you experience others and how others experience you. Think about it. When you carry anger or resentment, even quietly, it shows up in your tone, in your body language, in the way you interact. People feel it, even if they can't name it. That subtle energy creates tension, conflict, and distance. On the other hand, when you carry compassion and patience, your presence becomes softer, more inviting. People naturally feel safe around you. That's karma, working through your relationships. The Buddha often taught that our external conditions are deeply influenced by our internal states. If you want more peace in your home, more understanding in your partnerships, more support in your friendships, it begins with the karma you're generating within yourself. The more you purify your actions, the more your outer world becomes a reflection of that clarity. It doesn't mean every relationship becomes perfect overnight, but it does mean you stop adding fuel to the fires of disharmony. And it's not just emotional or relational. Your physical well-being is shaped by the energy you cultivate. Chronic stress from anger, guilt, or anxiety wears down the body over time. When your actions create more harmony within, your nervous system relaxes, your breath deepens, your immune system functions better. Science may explain this through biology, but the Buddha explained it through karma. It's all connected. What you do, what you think, what you feel, it all feeds into the overall balance of your life. When you live in alignment with right action, your energy becomes lighter, you smile more, you sleep better, you find joy in the little things. That's not magic. That's the result of karma working through every layer of your being. So if you're wondering where to begin healing your relationships, improving your health, or creating a life that feels more whole, start with your actions. Start with your choices. Start with the small moments where you decide to bring care instead of criticism, truth instead of avoidance, generosity instead of fear. The ripple effects are real, and they start unfolding the moment you choose to live from a more awakened place. Once you begin to see how your actions ripple into every part of your life, your peace of mind, your relationships, your body, it naturally leads to a deeper question. How can I live with more awareness and virtue? Starting now, you don't need to be a monk or a spiritual teacher to walk the path of right action. You just need to be awake to the choices you're making every day. The Buddha didn't offer some distant or unreachable ideal. He gave clear, practical guidance for daily life. He taught the path of sila, or ethical conduct, not as a way to earn praise, but as a way to free the heart. When you live with integrity, you're no longer torn between who you are and who you pretend to be. That alignment becomes your strength. It starts with paying attention. Before speaking, pause and ask yourself, is this true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Before acting, reflect. Will this cause harm or bring healing? These moments of reflection are small but powerful. They interrupt the automatic patterns of habit and make room for mindfulness. And in that space, you reclaim your freedom. You might think living like this would feel restrictive, but the opposite is true. The more intentional your actions become, the lighter you feel. You no longer carry the burden of regret or confusion. You begin to trust yourself, because you know you're not being driven by impulse or ego. That self-trust opens the door to a deeper kind of happiness, one that doesn't depend on outcomes, but on integrity. And the beauty of this path is that it's always available. No matter how distracted or reactive you've been, you can come back to awareness in the next breath. You can shift the energy in a conversation with one sincere word. You can change the tone of your day with one kind action. The power is always in the present moment. Living with virtue isn't about being flawless. It's about caring enough to notice your impact. It's about choosing love over fear, clarity over confusion, and truth over convenience. And the more often you make those choices, the more natural they become. They stop feeling like effort and start feeling like home. So ask yourself each day, how can I move through the world with more grace? What kind of energy am I planting with my presence? When you live like that, karma doesn't just feel like a cosmic force outside of you. It becomes something you're consciously shaping, one moment at a time. Now that you've seen how powerful right action can be, how it brings peace, clarity, better relationships, even better health, you might be wondering, how do I actually live this way every day? The answer doesn't require dramatic change. It begins with something very simple, a daily practice of intention. Because karma is shaped by what you do moment by moment. Even the smallest shift in awareness can redirect your entire path. Start each morning with a few quiet breaths before the day pulls you in. As you sit in stillness, you can gently set an intention. Today, may my thoughts be kind, my words be honest, and my actions be helpful. This short, sincere prayer creates a tone of mindfulness. It's like tuning an instrument before playing. The rest of your day becomes more harmonious because you started with clarity. Then, throughout the day, you check in. It doesn't have to be formal or forced. Just pause in the middle of a conversation, a meal, or even while waiting in line. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now planting peace or planting pain? You're not judging or criticizing, just observing. This gentle awareness is what transforms reactivity into conscious living. In the evening, take a few minutes to reflect. Not to analyze or replay everything, but simply to reconnect with your deeper self. Ask, did I bring more light into the world today? If the answer is yes, feel that goodness. Let it nourish you. If the answer is no, don't fall into guilt. Just recognize it, and let it inspire a fresh start tomorrow. This kind of reflection is how karma becomes your teacher, not your burden. The Buddha taught that spiritual practice isn't separate from life, it is life. It's how you speak when you're frustrated. It's how you listen when someone is hurting. It's how you respond when no one is watching. These moments build karma, and they also build your character. You become the kind of person whose presence brings calm, whose words bring clarity, and whose actions bring healing. There's no need to be perfect. There's only the need to care. To be honest enough to see when you've gone off track, and brave enough to return to the path. This is the practice. This is how you shape your karma with compassion and wisdom. One breath, one choice, one day at a time. And when you live this way consistently, the effects aren't just quick, they're lasting. Because the goodness you create doesn't end with you. It moves through you and blesses the world. That's how karma works. And that's how you live better, starting now.